Writing linear equations, especially in the slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b, from a graph is really pretty easy. When you think about it, if I have this given y-intercept and a slope that looks something like this, so I have this line that kind of looks like this. All I have to do, well, I know if I'm writing in slope-intercept form, it's going to start out with y equals. Okay, mx plus b. M is the slope, x is just x, and b is the y-intercept. So look first for the y-intercept. There it is. That's where it crosses the y-axis. It crosses the y-axis at y equals 2. So you know it's got to end in plus 2 because that's the y-intercept. And you know there's an x there because that's just part of the equation. Now all we need to do is find the slope and make that a coefficient of x, a multiplier of x. So what's the slope? Well, rise over run, just count blocks if you want, since you're given a graph. It goes up 3 and over 1, up 3 and over 1, or down 3 and over 1 in this direction. In any case, this line is going up to the right, so it's positive. So the slope is 3 over 1, or just 3. And there you have your equation. Really easy. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, for the moment, pretend this is a straight line, even though my drawing isn't quite so straight. Given this line, what is the equation of this line? If you're doing it in slope-intercept form, you know it begins with y equals. And I'll just write, it's going to be mx plus b form. It's supposed to be an x. Okay. So, let's look. Where's the y-intercept? Right there. Okay, it's at -1, so you know it's going to end with the -1, minus 1. What's the slope? Well, if we go up 1 and over 4, up 1 and over 4, like I said, my line isn't straight. I should have done that. Okay, or down 1 and over 4 in this direction, down 1 and over 4 in this direction. So basically, it's 1, rise is 1, and the run is 4. So the slope is 1 over 4, or 1/4. But because this line, look at the way it's going up and to the left, or down and to right, however you want to look at it, which means it's a negative slope. So it's going to be -1 over 4, and then there's the x. Okay, so that's really all there is to writing a linear equation in slope-intercept form using a graph. Figure out the y-intercept, figure out what the slope is just by counting blocks, and then put it in y equals mx plus b form. Now let's look at this very same line where it was y equals, here I'll write it up here, y is equal to -1/4 x minus 1. Okay, but suppose you're given this line and they say write this equation in point slope form. How are you going to do that? Well, you already know the slope. There it is, -1/4. And you know at least one point right there at the y-intercept. That point is 0, -1. But do you know a few more points? Sure, there's one here and there's one here. So this is 4, -2. This is 8, -3. Over here we got -4, 0. That's the x-intercept also. And -8, 1. Okay? So we've got all these points that we could use. So if this is a multiple choice question, you may have to go and figure out which one they're asking for. But just say we pick this one for now. We write it in point slope form. You know the slope, so, and they're giving you a point, so if you're looking at y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, then you just start plugging in numbers. So you could say y minus y1, now do green here, there's y1, so y minus negative 1 equals slope, which is negative 1/4, times x minus x1, which is 0. Okay, so if you simplified that, you'd get y plus 1 is equal to negative 1/4 x. Because when you distribute the negative 1/4 times 0 there, it's just 0. So basically, there's one way you could have done it. You could have put any of these other points in there, and it would be correct. So if it's multiple choice, you may have to look and see what points they're giving you in the multiple choice. See if it fits one of your choices. The key thing to look at is the slope, though, because chances are, if it's multiple choice, 2 of the slopes won't even be right. So you can cross those out immediately and check the others. Check the points that they give you. See if they fit on that line. You don't even have to calculate anything. Just check to see if those points fit on the line. As long as the slope is correct, check and see if it's on the line. And that's how you do writing a linear equation in point-slope form from a graph.